From UFOs to psychic powers and government conspiracies, history is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know.
Hey guys, share this if y'all want to, but I just wanted to talk about something that I came into possession of that I'm not really sure I'm supposed to have. So it's a small 96-page book, and it is literally just a list of names. And these names are like the 1% of the 1%. And the book is a members list for this exclusive something or another social club in New York City called the Brook, B-R-O-O-K. Names are people like you got Michael Bloomberg, Lord William Astor, got German princes, Saudi princes, English princes, David Koch's in here, just all sorts of folks. Anyways, Jim and I got it from him. He's in his 90s, and I've been doing this just, household work for him and his wife during the pandemic. And he is a member, former Pan Am exec, but his resume really makes you wonder what kind of role this club plays, and, for small hand it plays in shaping the way the world runs. Like, he went from being a Pan Am exec to working on the board of, I think it was called Opus Group, which literally determined like where cancer drugs went, like how they were allocated. And that seems to me like the kind of move you make when you're in one of these clubs and your buddy says, hey, well, why don't you come work for me? I'll pay you twice as much just to tell people they can't, have our drug, one thing or another. Anyways, really makes you wonder. It's called the Brook Social Club. Not sure if I should have shared those names, but hey, fuck my man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
What was that guy from the older generations of TV? Ha ha! Yes.
I'll buy that for $1. Oh no, that's a different thing.
Well, some agglomeration of those characters. That's awesome, man. And this is apropos to another conversation we had off air. Which
It really is.
Stays off air. So the Brook Club, Matt, you did some great digging on this. It's something. It's similar, perhaps, to some stuff we've talked about in the past. The idea that there are these exclusive private entities, that are much fancier than Bohemian Grove, by the way. So the first question a lot of people in the crowd today are going to have on their minds is this: Matt, is the Brook Club real?
The Brook Club is very real.
Dun,
and
dun,
it's
dun.
probably not as excitedly scary as you maybe hope or imagine from that message from anonymous person. Thank you very much for calling in, by the way.
Yes, thank you, Anonymous.
It is one of the social clubs that currently exists, that has existed for a long time in cities across the world, especially in places like London and New York, maybe Philadelphia, Boston. There are social clubs like this. Atlanta's one of those cities. They're across the world. I found an article from the New York Times from 1903, for real, and it is titled, "New Club is Launched, an exclusive organization with peculiar advantages, and it is called the Brook." Guys, it's named after a poem by Tennyson. Are you familiar, Ben? I'm assuming you are.
Alfred Lord?
Yeah. It's Song of the Brook, right?
I believe that's it. The line is, "Men may come and men may go, but I go on forever."
Yeah. That's the Brook. I had to look it up real quick just to double check. I mean, it's a beautiful line. in the poem. You know what I mean?
Yes. And the reason why they use that line and this concept of the Brook is because it was going to be very different from the other social clubs that existed in New York City in the early 1900s. They were going to make that baby open 24/7. No matter when you need to go sneak away from your loved ones or the people who are around you in your daily life and you're working, you can sneak away and read a newspaper around a giant table or have a meal perhaps and share some discussions with other men. Only 100 men. Because
and only dudes.
Only dudes and only 100, or I guess 99 other dudes who also might be let in, because there were only going to be 100 members at any given moment of the Brook. And this thing is fascinating to me. The way it's written about in 1903 by the New York Times, it is just a regular old thing. It's another one of these clubs, these gentlemen's clubs, not the kind that you think of right now. Not the kind most of us listening to could get into. It's the kind that you couldn't get into. Yes, this is no cheetah. It is in fact it's like a Piedmont driving club kind of thing. Mm-hmm, it's a club where you go to socialize, specifically with men for some reason. And it was just to you can find out roughly where it is in Manhattan. You can look it up. I won't give the address here because I don't want anybody just running over there because we're talking about it on the show. But, no harassment, everybody. It's a private social club that still exists in Manhattan.
Think about that, though. A private social club.
Yes. Oh, yes.
No one feels like that's whatever.
Can I tell you who was also a member?
Oh, please. I've got a notable members list here. I hope you name my favorite Sith Lord.
Well, the first one ties directly to the previous story. John F. Kennedy was allegedly a member of the Brook.
Sure. Yeah, it makes sense. He's a blue blood. I thought you might mention Henry Kissinger, who is, I feel like I have to do this every time I bring him up in a show, who is still alive. Henry Kissinger, still alive. The most diplomatic thing you could say is he's a controversial figure. But I did rightly describe him as a Sith Lord, and not without reason. So he's in there. You know what I mean?
Our caller mentioned Lord Liam Astor, princes from Germany, Saudi Arabia, David Koch. John Jacob Astor is in there, mentioned by a couple of websites here. William K. Vanderbilt the second. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was John Jacob Astor the fourth. I apologize.
Right. Because old money gets terribly uncreative when it comes to naming their children. This is fascinating, but we should say immediately the existence of a place like the Brook does not necessarily mean there is anything untoward, anything ethically fraught, or anything even like illegal going on. They could just be hanging out because they want a quiet place to read, which you and I talked about a little bit off air, Matt, which I totally agree with. The problem is that there is tremendous opportunity for corruption here, just like the practice of lobbying. Like you've got one of the richest guy. Wait, no, at the time, John Jacob Astor IV. I'm trying not to say that to the cadence of John Jacob Jingleheimer. But anyway, Astor was the richest dude in the United States, and he was hobnobbing with people who would be able to put their hands on the wheel of policy, right? So you could conceivably have conversations in this club that later turn the course of the law to your preference. Like if you were a member of this club and you had, kind of hot shot kid who got in trouble, hit a building, driving a car, or something like that, then your friends here at this club would be able to get that erased. It's just possible. It doesn't mean they did it. It's just possible.
Well, I'll give you club membership reasoning from Anthony Lejeune, writing for City Journal. I believe this is 1992. Yes, when Anthony Lejeune wrote this. The article he wrote is titled "A Tour of New York's Clubland," and what Anthony states little ways down the article is, quote, "Nobody joins a New York or London club for the gastronomy. What one clerical clubman called, quote, the piece of cod which passeth all understanding, unquote, is all too common fare. Conversation is supposed to be the point, or rather, there are two conflicting points, refuge and company, which is why real clubmen need at least two clubs, one where they can hide grumpily behind a newspaper, and another where they can talk." So, according to Anthony at least, it is a social club. It is to have thriving, interesting conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the descriptions that we just had hypothetically of covering up crimes or altering laws are both thriving and lively conversations.
That's a great talk. That's a great
Totally.
talk.
I mean, all those Bohemian Grove conversations, I'm sure, are quite illuminating.
And there's another thing here too, which is, we're on record saying this. Whenever we find out about secretive organizations, one of the first things we try to do is to figure out what their typical menu contains if they have food. And at this point, Matt, I don't think that's on the record, right?
I don't think so. Within that Anthony LeJeune article, there is one moment where he discusses one of the clubs in New York has a grill, essentially a large grill that operates all the time while the club is open. And there's no menu. You literally walk up and just request something and they make it. And they don't keep lists of who eats what. You just go up, you ask for something, they make it for you.
What a stressful position for the person working the grill. That's terrible.
I'll have one hock of lamb roasted, and I will eat it whole so the juices drip down my face and manly chest.
Bring me 2 ortolan and the eye of a lying child. You know what I mean? I don't know how they... Yeah. No, we're exaggerating, but that's pretty amazing.
It is. And the concept with the Brook was 24 hours that. You just get to go and just be, you're the most important person, and all these other people are the most important persons, and only 100 of you exist.
Oh, I only like the 24-hour vibe, but that's why I hang out at Waffle House.
Oh, yeah, lovely. Just give you some more names of clubs if you're interested in looking this kind of stuff up. There's the Union Club, Knickerbocker Club, Metropolitan Club, and there's so many more now that have cropped up over the years. There's all kinds of stuff that we could get into if we want to talk more about these, but gosh, I highly recommend going to the Wikipedia page for Brook Club, or the Brook Club, and find this 1903 article, because there's a link to it down there in the bibliography, and just read it. It's wonderful. Just how it was written about in 1903.
And also, we got to mention just that one rumor that I love so much.
Oh, the egg?
They were Upstart Club. Yeah, can you share that? Can you share that with the
No,
class?
you tell us.
No, you got to do it.
Okay, well, allegedly, according to many places that have written about the Brook online, and there aren't that many, but of the ones that write about it, they tend to mention this. There is a rumor that the Brook was founded by, quote, 2 former members of the Union Club who were expelled after trying to poach an egg on a bald member's head. Oh.
That is the height of decadence right there.
Jerry, don't move for a moment.
What's all that?
Did you have the egg?
I'm standing still.
Someone's cracking an egg on your head, Jerry. Glug, 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 gross.
Get away from me, gentlemen.
You want some Mario?
I'm a Union Club.